All right, let's talk about Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. Talk about keys for success for Quinn against the Arkansas defense's upcoming weekend. And here in 1 or 2 minutes, we're going to look at some film and some clips of Quinn that demonstrates the type of throws and plays that he's going to have to make in order to avoid the upset against Arkansas. But before we talk about Quinn, before we look at these film breakdowns, at least these quick clips, let's talk about Arkansas's defense, because they're a defense that has actually played pretty well this season up until the Ole Miss game, right? They want to keep everything in front. They want to force the quarterback to make a mistake, and they'll give up some yards underneath, but they want to try to avoid the big plays. And up until Ole Miss, they did not give up a bunch of big explosive plays, right? They did well against Tennessee. They did well against Auburn, against A&M, even against LSU. They kept everything in front. LSU just dink and dunked them the entire time. They had a big turnover, and so LSU was able to kind of run away with that game. But besides Ole Miss, they've played fairly well. So I would expect Arkansas's defense to bounce back. They're one of their better units on their team. I'd expect them to play much better than they did against Ole Miss. With that, so let's talk about Quinn Ewers. Let's talk about, I got 3-4 main keys that I want to hit on from Quinn that I think if done and done consistently throughout the game, they'll be able to avoid the upset against Arkansas, right? So Quinn's coming off maybe his best game of the season or of the year. 5 touchdowns, I think, was a career best. And I think one of the main things we saw him rely on Sark's creativity. And so that's point number one. You want to rely on Sark's creativity. You want to rely on him scheming open receivers. And of course, you have to hit those open guys. But what Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss did really well against Arkansas was scheme open receivers against Arkansas's defense. And so these two OCs are probably the two of the best offensive minds in all of college football. And Arkansas is playing them back to back, right? They're coming off a bye week, but before that, they had Ole Miss. Key number 2, get your feet set on throws. And we saw him do a better job of this against Florida. We're going to look at some clips. Jesse Palmer pointed that out during the broadcast footage, or during the broadcast game, when he was broadcasting the game, excuse me. And so I think it made a big difference on some of these accurate throws. Key number 3, and I thought we saw improvement of it, largely because his feet were being set, is be accurate on the intermediate to deep throws. Now, he was 2 of 5 where the ball was thrown 20 yards or more in the air. There was a drop. He should have been 3 of 5 on those type of throws. But be accurate on those deeper throws. It doesn't have to be deep bombs. It can be intermediate throws, but you want to show some accuracy on those throws. And then the last key is getting the ball out quick and still relying on screens. The screen game is a huge part of Sark's offense. It's not the most sexy part. Like, I think Quinn had 19 completions last week and 10 were behind the line of scrimmage. So it's not sexy by any means, but it's a big part of the offense that allows them to set up deeper plays, right? So rely on Sark's creativity, get your feet set on throws, be accurate on these intermediate throws, and then rely on the screen game as well. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at, I think we got 6 clips that I want to dive into that hopefully do a good job demonstrating the type of throws that we just talked about. Again, it's broadcast footage. I have to slow it down. I do apologize, but I think it does a good job showcasing the type of throws Quinn has to do against Arkansas's defense. We'll check out a few plays of Quinn. These first 3 plays we're going to look at are clips of demonstrating the creativity of Sark and then Quinn completing these passes. And if you look back at Ole Miss, like Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, they're probably the 2 top offensive minds in college football when it comes to scheming open players. And so Ole Miss had a ton of success against Arkansas, which was a good defense. But now Arkansas is playing another OC that is just as good as scheming up open receivers. So here's clip number 1. Against Florida here, we're going to see that Florida's defense isn't very good. They got 7 guys in the box. And we're going to see the threat of this swing pass here. You got 2 guys like doing the same thing, but everyone's eyes are in the backfield in this DB here. And so we got the threat of a quick swing pass, which again, Texas does a ton of screens. And you got everyone going in. Let's see. Let me move this. I apologize. And so if I go back real quick, we can see that if I move this, backers looking in, and we're going to see this receiver's kind of slip out away from him, ends up being a touchdown against Florida. This was his first touchdown of the game, against Florida, right? So again, Sark's creativity led to a wide open receiver, and Quinn was able to hit on that. So relying on Sark's creativity, I think, is key number 1, especially when you're playing a good defense. We'll go ahead and watch 2 more clips of Sark's creativity. And so this next clip is going to be, is it coming? What am I doing? This next clip is early in the game as well. This is before the first touchdown, and this is, the first drive, actually. And we're going to see a tight end Helm get open here. Again, we got some window dressing, someone going in motion, trying to get the defense out of position. Fake play action, something that Texas does a lot. Quinn does a lot of throws off play action. But that threat just gets guys out of position. Everyone's going this way. Even this DB It's actually not horrible coverage on Helm here. It just ends up being a good route. But this linebacker is going down this way as opposed to dropping back. So you can see on this throw here, it's like deep out from Quinn to Helm, and you can see that this backer probably should be back here a few more yards and make it a little tougher. But the threat of this little swing pass had the backer creeping up. All right, so it's another good job by Sark, creating it in an open receiver, even though it was better coverage than last time, and Quinn throwing a nice throw. This next clip's going to be a screen pass. I don't want to show a ton of screens just because that's kind of boring to break down for the most part. People want to see bigger throws. But it's a good example of more creativity from Sark. A little play action to the running back, a little half roll here, gets guys out of position, and you got all these offensive linemen ready to go here, and he ends up scoring on a touchdown here. Right, so just 3 examples of some creativity from Sark and Quinn executing. Now, I think Arkansas's defense is much better than Florida, and of course, they'll be studying this. If we're talking about Sark's creativity, they probably have a ton of cut-ups that they're going and teaching their guys to be just to have a heads up on and to kind of be aware of what they're trying to do. Okay, let's go ahead and move it on here. Okay, point number 2. I think Quinn showed some better accuracy against Florida. Now, he was off on a few throws, but setting his feet, 3rd and 7, that's a good throw there, not getting too wide of a base. Again, we heard, I think it was Jesse Palmer talking about how accurate Quinn is when he sets his feet, and he kind of got away from that coming back from injury. So I don't know if it was an injury thing or if he was compensating a little bit, but this is much better, setting your feet, able to rotate through. That land leg is being stable here to absorb the force you're producing. And then Quinn's able to rip it downfield. So that was a really big key, I think, pickup that Jesse Palmer was able to touch on from the previous game against Florida. Here's another clip. This is early in the game. This is a little slant route here. But we're going to see the timing of the ball, watch his feet get set, and then he's able to rip it. When his feet are set, he's got a strong arm, right? But it's just getting your feet set, not letting it float a little bit. That was a good timing throw, good route, pretty good coverage, but hits him in stride. Again, Quinn's feet are set. And then let's watch these last keys, is being accurate on some intermediate throws. Now, there's one throw that he's kind of on the run, but it's accurate on some intermediate to deep throws. So it doesn't have to be the deep ball, the deep 40, 50-yard bomb. It's just some intermediate, maybe 15-ish yard throws, 20, 25-yard throws that you're pushing downfield that you want to hit on that could be potentially there. So this is one of his best throws of the season, I think. This is a 3rd and 13 against Michigan. It's a really nice catch. We're going to see him stay in the pocket. Again, his feet are set. It's early in the season. Feet are set. Good rotation on the leg. Land leg is able to absorb force and throws a nice ball downfield. Again, hell of a catch, but nice ball downfield before the safety is over able to go over. Is that Isaiah Bond? Yeah, man, Bond is so good, by the way, Texas fans. Y'all obviously know that. So last clip we'll watch, another one of my favorite Quinn throws, and this is, again, accuracy downfield. And he had some zip on the ball early in the season before he got hurt. I think we saw some more zip on the ball and some throws against Florida. His eyes remain downfield. Now, he doesn't get his feet set here, but some throws you just aren't supposed to. A lot of quarterbacks make these type of throws. I think maybe what some quarterbacks get in the habit of doing is throwing like this when you don't have to. Now, this play he had to. He delivered it perfectly, kind of off-platform throwing, get a strike downfield. So whenever you need to throw like that, you absolutely want to throw like that, but you don't want to get in a habit of it whenever you don't need to. That was a nice, accurate throw downfield. Just to kind of recap Quinn, I'll go back and start it. Relying on Sark's creativity, I think, is key number 1, especially after what you saw Ole Miss was able to do against Arkansas and Lane Kiffin being able to scheme open receivers. Point number 2, continue to get your feet set. We saw him do better of that in Florida, and Jesse Palmer talked about that. Then key number 3, accuracy on some intermediate throws. You would like to see some deep throws, but if you can be accurate on those intermediate type throws that we just watched at the end of the video, then I think you're in a good position. But Texas fans, I want to hear from you. What do you think Quinn needs to do to play well against Arkansas? What do you think Texas needs to do to avoid the upset? Right now, you're like a 2-touchdown favorite. Let me move this. You're like a 2-touchdown favorite, depending what gambling site you're looking at. So what do you think they need to do to avoid the upset? You don't want to come in kind of sleepy, kind of down, expecting to roll over Arkansas on 11 a.m. game. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, we're a big SEC quarterback hub, so please subscribe to the channel if you like that type of niche content. Like the video, share, all that stuff. It helps us grow. We'll see you next time. Peace.